Two baggers, two philosophies. Honda's base Goldwing brings a flat six, shaft drive, and obsessive engineering. Kawasaki's Vulcan 1700 Vaquero ABS counters with a 1700cc V-twin belt drive and old-school swagger. 9 key points separate them, and the gap runs deeper than the spec sheets suggest. At $19,999, the Vaquero undercuts the Goldwing by $5,501 before destination charges, and that is the single loudest argument in its favor. For roughly the cost of a well-equipped mid-size cruiser, Kawasaki hands you a full frame-mounted fairing, hard-sealed saddlebags, cruise control, ABS, and a 40-watt audio system with Sirius XM compatibility. Nothing is optional. There is one trim and one color, metallic brilliant golden black. The Goldwing's $25,500 buys Honda's flagship platform, but the base model is deliberately the stripped version of that platform. Honda expects most buyers to climb to the $29,500 Tour. Kawasaki expects you to stop shopping right here, and financially, that logic is hard to argue with. Honda's 1833cc liquid-cooled flat six produces roughly 125 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 125 pound-feet at 4,500 RPM, delivered with the turbine-like smoothness that has defined the Goldwing since 1975. It pulls hard, revs willingly, and never vibrates. Kawasaki's 1700cc 52-degree V-twin makes 82 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, but a stout 107.6 pound-feet at just 2,750 RPM, with a 102mm by 104mm bore and stroke that tells you everything about its intent. The Vaquero surges from idle and settles into a lazy, rhythmic pulse. The Goldwing accelerates harder and holds triple-digit cruising with contempt. The Vaquero feels more like a motorcycle and less like a machine. Both use 6-speed gearboxes, but the details diverge. The Goldwing base runs a 6-speed manual with shaft final drive, and for $1,000 more, Honda offers its 7-speed automatic DCT, an option the Vaquero simply cannot match. Honda also fits an electric walking speed reverse, which matters enormously on an 800-pound bike facing an uphill parking spot. The Vaquero uses a 6-speed with overdrive, a positive neutral finder, and a carbon fiber reinforced belt. The belt is quiet, clean, and cheaper to service than a shaft, but it will eventually need replacement, and there is no reverse gear. For riders who tour solo and park on gravel, that omission is not trivial. Honda's double wishbone front end is the most sophisticated suspension design in touring motorcycling, separating braking forces from suspension action so the nose barely dives under heavy braking. It offers 4.3 inches of front travel and 4.1 inches at the pro-arm rear. The Vaquero is conventional by comparison. A 45mm Showa telescopic fork with 5.5 inches of travel and twin air-assisted rear shocks with 4-way adjustable rebound damping, but only 3.1 inches of rear wheel travel. That short rear stroke is the Vaquero's weakest link on broken pavement, where sharp expansion joints reach the rider's spine. Honda's rear end absorbs the same hit and moves on. Note that electronic preload adjustment is a Goldwing Tour feature, not a base model one. The Vaquero weighs 844.5 pounds at the curb. The base Goldwing weighs 806. The smaller displacement cruiser is the heavier motorcycle by nearly 40 pounds. Kawasaki offsets that with a lower 28.7-inch seat height against Honda's 29.3 inches, which helps shorter riders plant both feet. But the Goldwing carries its mass far lower thanks to the horizontally opposed layout, and it disguises weight better once rolling and during U-turns. The Vaquero's longer 7.0-inch trail against Honda's 4.3 inches makes it stable at speed, but heavier at the bars in parking lots, where its 65.6-inch wheelbase advantage evaporates. Both bikes run linked ABS, but the philosophies differ. Kawasaki's K-Act 2 system coactively distributes force between dual 300mm front discs with 4-piston calipers and a single 300mm rear. Honda pairs dual 320mm front discs with a 316mm rear and combined braking, and the double wishbone front geometry means the chassis stays composed while you use them. Electronic cruise control is standard on both, though Kawasaki's is limited to third gear or higher and between 30 and 85 miles per hour. Honda's throttle-by-wire brings selectable riding modes, traction control, hill start assist, and an idle stop system. The Vaquero's electronics are competent. The Goldwings are a generation ahead. The base Goldwing offers 60 liters across 2 integrated saddlebags that open electronically and lock via Smart Key. There is no top trunk unless you buy the Tour or add the accessory box, which pushes total capacity to 121 liters. The Vaquero sealed side-opening hardbags hold nearly 10 gallons each, roughly 76 liters combined. So on raw volume, the Kawasaki actually wins at the base level. Fuel capacity is close. 5.5 gallons for Honda, 5.3 for Kawasaki. Real-world range favors the Vaquero's lower revving twin marginally, but both bikes want to stop every 170 to 200 miles regardless. Neither bike ships with a passenger backrest as standard either, so two-up comfort on either machine means a visit to the accessories catalog. The Goldwing runs a 7-inch full-color TFT display with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth pairing, a smart key with answer back, heated grips as standard, and an electrically adjustable windscreen with a 4.9-inch range that remembers its last setting. The Vaquero counters with an analog forward cockpit, an AM/FM WB radio, Sirius XM readiness, intercom headset compatibility, and fairing-mounted 40-watt speakers. It is a genuinely good stereo attached to a dashboard designed a decade earlier. If you want smartphone integration, navigation mirroring, and screen-based menus, only one of these motorcycles is speaking the current language. Both carry 36-month limited warranties. The Goldwing's Flat 6 is among the most durable engines ever fitted to a motorcycle, with shaft drive that removes chain and belt maintenance entirely, and Goldwings hold value tenaciously on the used market. The Vaquero is mechanically simpler and cheaper to feed, and its parts and labor rates are lower, but it is a long-running design rather than a current flagship, and depreciation reflects that. The trade is real. You pay Honda more upfront and recover more later. You pay Kawasaki less upfront and accept a softer resale floor. Insurance typically favors the Vaquero as well. These motorcycles answer different questions. If the question is, how much touring capability can I buy for under $20,000, the Vaquero is a genuinely strong answer and remains one of the best bagger values on the market. It looks the part, sounds the part, hauls impressive luggage volume, and gives up nothing in cruise control or ABS. Riders who want V-twin character, a low seat, and a bike that feels like a cruiser first will not regret it. But if the question is, which is the better touring motorcycle, the Goldwing wins clearly and on nearly every technical axis. More power, less weight, vastly better suspension, DCT availability, reverse gear, modern connectivity, and stronger long-term value. The base model's compromise is that it deletes the trunk, heated seats, and electronic preload that make the Tour a proper two-up Continental machine. So the honest recommendation splits. Solo riders and weekend tours on a budget should buy the Vaquero and spend the $5,500 saved on gear, tires, and fuel. Riders who log serious annual mileage, ride two-up, or intend to keep the bike for a decade should stretch to the Goldwing and ideally pass the base model to the Tour. The Vaquero is the better deal. The Goldwing is the better motorcycle.